Hi, I'm Sharlene Massie. I am founder and CEO of About Staffing. Started in 1996, which is why we're doing these podcasts. We were asked for more information on trends and what's happening in the workplace today. It's all changing so rapidly. And I am here with a special guest today. I brought in my one and only Allie Struck. And Allie is my physiotherapist. Well, actually, you're my exercise physiologist slash, I think, almost psychologist, because she talks me through all the issues that I might be having in the week. And I've been working with Allie for a few years now, I think. Do you want to introduce yourself? Because you're my specialist here. I'm just behind the scenes to ask the questions, but you're the specialist.
That's right. I am Allie Struck, and I am a clinical exercise physiologist, which simply means my clinical practice involves prescribing movement for a variety of health conditions, whether that be a physiological disorder, a neurological disorder, hormonal condition, a whole variety of things.
And you know what? I think I've had all of those conditions. I'm so grateful, and I know gratefulness is part of a burnout when we're over grateful, but I really do feel grateful that you've been helping me through massive amounts of burnout. I've been working since I was 15 years old. I mean, I worked through absolutely everything. And I realized a few years ago that I was having some issues with my nervous system. I did work out, but then I just got worse. And I recently wrote a number of blogs. I wrote a series of blogs on burnout. And when I was talking to you about it in our session, emotional, physical session, you mentioned that you could really help out with burnout and the other people that might be watching the podcast and what we can do about it. So I don't know if you want to talk about some of the stuff we've seen.
So I think what a lot of people don't realize is when we go through burnout, it has the implications are far more than just psychological. They impact our physiology, they impact our hormonal imbalances, they impact a variety of conditions. And when people realize that they can actually use movement as medicine in regards to burnout, it is very empowering, and it not only benefits their physiological health, but it helps with their stress levels, it helps with their quality of life, and it's something I wish people could harness more and take into their daily life. Like something like you are the perfect example. But like when we first started, it was like every day you were learning, like every time I saw you, you were learning something new about yourself and your body and how you could respond to it in a positive manner. And that has impacted your life in such a fabulous way.
Well, when we first met, I couldn't even walk, actually. I'd had some serious issues, and more than just burnout and stress, but it all compiled, and I wasn't even moving at all. And then I met you, and you taught me, and you're still teaching me every day about balance, and not just mental balance, but physical balance, and what I can do in my body, and how the connection works between my brain and my nervous system, and how they all work together. And I remember so many moments thinking, oh, I didn't know I could do that, or I didn't know that was connected. And then you explained it all to me, and then I could work harder and work more and walk better, and even just balancing my mental and my physical being was a huge improvement.
Well, I think if people understood how the body works as a whole, right? And the nervous system is crucial for a variety of things. Specifically, it controls our mental state, but it also is in control of our body movements. So the nervous system, the way it talks to muscles is the brain's got a command. It's either voluntary or involuntary. We're either telling it to do something or there's something we're responding to. Brain talks through the nerves to the muscle acts, talks back to the nerves, tells the brain that it's done its job, okay? So the nervous system is crucial in movement for two things. It's in control of power, so how fast the brain's talking to the muscle through the nerves, and then reaction time. So reaction time is how much muscle we're actually getting involved in that movement. Okay, so when we have psychological stress or we've had burnout even, there's going to be a delay in that communication to the muscle. And if we're not helping heal it, we're going to see sluggishness, we're going to see fatigue, we're going to see an inability to perform purposeful movements with stability. So you'll often find that people that are burnt out, I've heard so many times, they're like, I'm far more likely to trip up the stairs, or, I'm walking and I'm just in a daze, and then all of a sudden, like, I don't even realize like where I am. Like, they're just in a constant brain fog. And that's not a coincidence. That's a physiological response to stress and to a burnt out nervous system. So when we realize that movement is crucial in not only producing healing in the nervous system and performing these movements, we can also understand how we can implicate it and apply it in other aspects of our lives to help heal the nervous system and help heal our body as a whole.
So when we are burnt out, we don't really want to add anything else to our plate. We don't want to put more on.
Yeah.
We may think that we can, but we don't. We just don't know what to do because we're overwhelming our whole system.
Yeah. And I think that's part of burnout. You don't. Once you're in it, you don't realize how you got like you didn't like, you're not taking these steps and you're like, oh, this is going to lead into burnout, right? Like it's usually gradual. You're unaware of it. You're ignoring the signs which the body usually gives you to be like a little red flag, like calm down, like we need to slow down. We often like just bypass that, like this is part of it. Like this is important. Like we just got to keep moving forward, when that's not necessarily the case.
Right. We need to pause and reflect and figure out maybe what is most important. I certainly realized with your help that without my ability to think clearly, and without my ability to actually move and function, I'm useless. I can't help anyone. I can't help myself. I can't help my family. I can't help my teammates. I certainly can't help my clients and my candidates. I can't do my job if I can't move and I can't think clearly. And you were really, really helpful in helping me to try to process that at my speed.
Yeah.
Because it was burnout, it was exhaustion, it was confusion. What do I do? I don't know how I feel. I don't know what to do about it. And you certainly helped me step by step by step. And I wanted to say too, do you remember when we first met and how I wasn't really able to function? I barely could walk through the door. And our first steps together,
I know.
What did we do?
You struggled to lift a 1 pound weight. You were your grip strength, you didn't have the ability to produce power in your hand. And that, going back to what the nervous system does, right? When it's burnt out, there's that inability to produce these movements. So you had a very low grip strength. You were extremely worried about even getting up from a chair to standing, like very simple tasks, which I knew you'd be able to do. But your system, your body, it was so questioning of itself that you couldn't perform them.
I lost my confidence, that's for sure. You helped me build that back. So
just for point of reference, Sharlene is doing 12-pound bicep curls now. So from the 1 pound that she was doing, she's come a long way.
Oh, thank you. And you know what? You're so encouraging. And I think that's so important too, is that if you've got someone in your corner that's there, whether that's a medical professional or a team member but a spouse or a family member, it doesn't matter. But you've got to have somebody like you to say, you've got this. And you often say, oh, you're gorgeous. You're gorgeous. And I think, oh, thank you so much, Allie. As you watch me struggle with these weights. And every session with you is different, which I also love. It's so important to keep learning and growing.
So I learned just as much from you. But what is beautiful, for me, it's so important that, you need someone in your corner, but you also need someone in your corner that understands what's going on. So I look at you and I know that the body was designed to heal itself. And so I have hope, right? I'm like, okay, if we're doing the right things, if we're helping the nervous system heal, if we're giving it the opportunity and the space to give it rest, but then to also come back stronger, I 100% know that you're going to get back up on your feet, you're going to heal, and you're going to be far stronger than you were before. And here we are. There's a testimony that you are. You are so much stronger than when we started.
I couldn't do it without you. That's for sure. So what kind of customer, if I can call it that, a patient customer, do you like to work with? Because I only know that you work with me, but
Yes.
because we do one-on-one sessions, you
Yes.
and I, we
Yeah.
do private one-on-one sessions. And so what other kinds of customers are you looking for?
So I have a variety of clientele. We'll call them clients.
Okay.
I do have a special interest in women's health. Women's health, I feel like it's something that's so overlooked and something that's so even segmentized. Or if you're a woman and you have issues, it's like, oh, that's because you're a woman, right? Like it's something that's so...
We think we can do it all.
And that's part of the issue, right? And I think that's not our fault, but it's something that we've learnt to respond to protect ourselves in a way that it's like, okay, this is my issue, I'm going to deal with it. But that's not necessarily how it should be. So women's health, whether that be a hormonal condition, like a woman going through menopause or postpartum or they're pregnant. I also love neurological conditions. They're probably
Thank you.
That's my passion. My passion is neurological conditions because I have seen so many clients who, whether they have Parkinson's or, encephalitis, that's what you had.
Right.
A whole variety of conditions. They're often just segmentized as, okay, nervous system, we don't know much about the nervous system. We'll just put them in this corner. We'll leave them there and we'll just, a little bit trial and error. But I'm like, if you understand the nervous system, specifically how it responds and specifically how it responds to trauma and stress, you can help it in such a meaningful and wonderful way. And so with neurological conditions, I also have a really strong desire to help psychological conditions. So mental health and the nervous system are very closely intertwined. And so I have several patients with PTSD, amazing, strong, powerful people, and they just need an advocate. Often that's the case. And they just need to understand why their body is responding the way it's responding. And usually it's a trauma response. And once they understand that, you can create amazing healing pathways. I also deal with basic musculoskeletal issues. So whether that be chronic back pain, lower back pain, variety of musculoskeletal conditions. But my main interests would be neurological, psychological conditions, because I believe that they're the conditions that are often overlooked or there's taboo about the topic. And I'm like, just go to the physiology and understand it and you can create amazing headway.
Well, we had a huge response with my blog. So I never know. I write them because of what I'm hearing in the trends and situations that people are in. And it was overwhelming response that I got to these blogs that were all about the burnout. I wrote one specifically for women, which is why I thought you'd also be great today. Women and burnout, it's such a big deal. We are taking on so much, and we don't give ourselves the time to spend an hour with you or an hour a day, an hour a week, doesn't matter, but some time with someone like you to help us through these burnout stages and what we can do about it.
Well, especially females in the workplace. If you think of the time frame that they're in there, usually it's in that perimenopause to menopausal stage. So perimenopause is about the 10 years leading up to menopause. So there's a huge amount of time, and in that amount of time, our hormones are changing. So our estrogen is slowly dropping, our testosterone's dropping. There's not necessarily a lot of warning signs that are telling us this, but there are psychological little red flags, which I talked about before, which are starting to pop up. So inability to tolerate stress or an inability to just be able to adjust as you previously could to stress.
Brain fog.
Brain fog is a huge one. Inability to make choices, be decisive. Yeah, our hormones play a huge impact into our ability to think, in our psychological health as well. And women aren't told, if you think about it, a man's hormones are literally on a day-to-day cycle, okay? So he wakes up, testosterone goes high, blah, blah, blah. It's the same every single day, pretty much. A woman's hormones are different every single day because of our menstrual cycle, because we're in a 35-day cycle where every day our hormones are fluctuating. No one talks about that.
No.
And especially in that perimenopause stage where we're slowly losing hormones. We're not necessarily doing anything about it because we're unaware of it. We're still getting our period or we're on the pill, so we don't know what's going on. But there are psychological shifts that are changing, and it's not your fault. It's not the workplace's fault. It's literally a normal process. But there are things that we can do to support women through this, especially in a working career, so that they're not hitting burnout sooner than they should, or that they're not hitting burnout when they shouldn't. You don't
I
need
hear
to hit
about it
burnout.
for 25-year-olds burning out
Yeah.
and can't function, all the way up to 65-year-olds who can't function. It's so crazy right now. And it could be all the outside influences as well. But I want to end on something like maybe about sleep.
Yes.
Because I'm also hearing about the people who they're not sleeping well. They're up all night. They're thinking, their brain isn't stopping in the evening. They're not settling down. Do you have any advice for people that might be experiencing
We need to treat sleep as sacred ground. It is where, it is our body's way of resetting for the next day, honestly. I really struggled with sleep when I was pregnant with my first child. And even after that, I don't think anyone prepares you for the lack of sleep. And I totally felt the consequences. Now, when it comes to sleep, there are things we can do to help wind us down. Now, considering where our hormones are at night, where usually the melatonin is increasing, our testosterone is decreasing. So we should be getting into that slow relaxation state. But what I found these days is this is when people are like, we got to get our workouts in. This is the only time I have to do a workout. We're not waking up early. We're going to just do it late. And yes, there is benefit to that, but it is very detrimental to our circadian rhythm and to our process of healing. So I would really encourage people to wake up that hour earlier, do the workout then, and then use that evening to wind down. So get off the screens, right? Yeah. You can do a gentle, I would say, do your mobility in the evening rather than your strength workout. And I know that is...
So stretching?
Yeah, stretching, yoga, Pilates, like things that aren't going to increase your heart rate exceptionally high to like boost up that testosterone level, to boost up your cortisol. We want to really be winding it down.
Okay, that's great. Well, now if anyone wants to find you,
yes,
other than I know where you are.
So I am based in Calgary, Alberta. I have an active Instagram page called alistruck.ep, but you can also contact me via email. We'll put my contact details below.
Great.
I do virtual sessions. I do one-on-one sessions. I really tailor it to what the individual needs. So some people do prefer online sessions.
Yes.
Accountability that way. But then there are other people who thrive with that one-on-one session. So usually what I like to do at an at-home session, or I'll come to your gym. We'll access what you've got. We'll create a plan there, and we can go from there. But I also do virtual sessions.
Yeah, I've done some virtual sessions with you actually, and they work if I'm away or if
I weren't too bad at all.
I didn't love them, but they're okay for me. But I because I have access to you one-on-one, I much prefer that, which is wonderful. So thank you so much for being our guest today.
Pleasure.
Always a step ahead about staffing, working with another trend, burnout, and our wonderful guest. Thank you so much, Ali Struck.
Thanks for having me.
And hopefully we see you again here on one of our podcasts in the future. And otherwise, I'll see you at the gym.